My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Leos. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general love reading, your 5-card spread. But before I do that, I want to offer these 12 red roses as a token of my love and appreciation for your love, support, and devotion towards my channel. And also, thank you so much for joining me here today as well. So, this 5-card love reading includes how the first card represents you, the second, the other person, the third, the relationship, the fourth, the past, the fifth, the future. Then I'm going to draw Vampire Oracle for you and then a Favoli and one card from the French Tarot deck of Le Tarot Interdit Vampiria. But let's get started with card number 1 for you, and you get the Page of Swords. This Journeys kind of card. Now, the thing is I'm kind of getting some mixed senses and signals here. So, hear me out. On one positive aspect, it shows that you are embarking on this new love journey and going out on the hunt, wherever it may be, the safari, any kind of like jungle-esque kind of area. But this is kind of like just definitely seeing movement and development taking place. But on a negative note, but of course the silver lining positive note is I also see you heading out towards, divorce and breakup as well, or even just kind of taking a break and thinking, okay, I was with this person, man, woman, whoever you're currently with, or whoever in other ways. You pretty much just think, okay, we've been through our courtship, now I'm just going to kind of, we'll go back home and just kind of, re-energize and what have you and so forth in other ways. But the pages, whether it's the Page of Cups, Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles, or Page of Swords, it's a journeys kind of card, and it's development and movement. Because if you get a chance to watch one of my previous videos about the history of Elizabeth Bathory and about blood, is as long as blood is flowing through the human body, it means that the human body is functioning and working right. And that goes the same for any kind of plan, development, or progress for that matter. Is if you have an excellent plan, as long as there's movement and development, then something is working. If something is not working, then it means that it either needs to be fixed or you need to maybe try a different course of action for that matter. But anyway, who could the other person potentially be? King of Pentacles, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo placements, or person placements, whoever and whatever it may be. But there's slow yet and will certain movement heading towards you. It's not as restless as the Knight of Swords. It's not as passionate as the Knight of Wands, and it's also just also not as, like trotting, let's say, as a Knight of Cups for that matter. But this is like, this person, whoever it may be, is definitely slowly but yet surely heading towards you. But this person is also taking his or her sweet time, just also enjoying life. Maybe they have to figure out their own ways. But if you see this pentacle that this Knight of Pentacles is holding, and is also kind of looking over to think, I want to propose to Leo. But how am I going to go about it as well? Maybe this person is also incredibly cautious about heading off towards you as well. And maybe that's why they're taking, their sweet time, in the sense where they just think, oh goodness, what if Leo rejects me? That would be such a devastating act. Because, I admire Leos on so many levels. Because the thing is you guys just come across as like this very strong, confident, passionate individual in your own way. And that's kind of the Leonine nature, because you guys are like the lions, the lionesses. And, it's like, it's always very, it's like you just don't know how to approach any kind of like lion or lioness. Are they going to be loving and caring? Are they going to be purring? Are they going to approach me? Or are they going to be pouncing on me like I'm just some kind of prey in other ways? Or are they going to ignore me and refuse and reject me? To even be refused by the king or queen of the jungle is just one devastating act for that matter. But it could also be you also, creating some plan, and something is working slowly yet surely in your favor as well. Because the relationship of what could be or is the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is one of the most powerful cards next to the Hierophant, but she has her upper book of knowledge of the past experiences, of your senses and intuition, and she pretty much is like your beautiful personal guide, and it's mostly like your own personal experiences from the past with your senses and intuition of thinking, okay, this and that happened, how can we learn from it for the next time? And maybe that's why, you're kind of in the process of actually thinking, okay, I've been through some past negative relationships in the past, but how am I going to learn it for the next time? And this is where you could also be slowly yet surely heading off towards any kind of relationship, romantic outcome, whatever it may be. Or, you could pretty much just think, okay, my senses and intuition are okay with this upcoming offering. Or you could also just be in a very beautiful, stable, grounded, and realistic, singlehood as well, in any kind of, position in your life. But what was the past like? Queen of Swords. Yeah, you see, you were planning something. There was definitely this logical planning that you were mostly, creating and establishing in other ways, and that's a very good thing to have, especially with the High Priestess guiding and supporting you and heading out into this world. Because the thing is, if you actually have a plan, planning, you plan your day to say, okay, I'm going to go out to my job, or I'm going to go out to the grocery store, I'm going to head out for a beautiful, morning walk, or I'm going to work out and stuff like that. To have a plan is good because, it's like it just shows that you pretty much just know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen in other ways. But this is also kind of just thinking, okay, I want to plan a beautiful outcome and stuff like that. And together with the High Priestess, it's like your senses and intuition and your past experiences are also supporting this beautiful, logical, strategic plan in other ways. Because in the future, you get Two of Swords, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini energy. And what this is all about is you're going to have to make this big decision. And maybe that's what you're already planning in the past and stuff like that. And maybe that's why you're taking this big, long time of slowly yet sure, certain or sure movement, is that you pretty much just think, okay, I have a decision to make. So the High Priestess is also going to be guiding me towards this decision in other ways. And yet, it's like I've already experienced, all kinds of negative, relationships in the past, stuff like that. And now I'm just going to maybe take baby steps. I'm just going to take my time on heading off towards any decision that you want, wish, dream, and desire in other ways. But of course, you could also be choosing, do I want to eventually find romance, true love, partnership, companionship, or do I want to be in a singlehood as well in the future? So, because Oracle wants to say ecstasy, yielding, rapture, and bliss. So whatever decision, it's going to end up in a very blissful position. And you're going to feel incredibly ecstatic. You're going to feel, like there's this kind of metaphorical rapture that's taking place in your life in other ways. But whatever it may be, I do see something heading towards you slowly yet surely. I mean, it could be a potential engagement. That could be like this kind of rapture of some kind, or this blissful outcome in any way. But again, take it how it resonates. Maybe you're going to be the one to propose, and maybe it's going to be this very ecstatic and blissful, outcome and ending for you as well, or for both of you, hopefully. So, because Favole wants to continue with Knight of Masks, also known as the Knight of Wands. You are incredibly passionate. You're pretty much just heading out towards this new journey, voyage, what have you, and stuff like that. I mean, of course, you could be heading off towards romance, relationships, and stuff like that, but you could also be heading off towards your own personal well-being, your own future, of thinking, okay, it's like, I mean, this is interesting because, it's like you see this kitty cat mask, and it's almost like it's a feline mask, so that's why it's like, this sort of reminds me of like Leonine energy for that matter. But other than that, it just kind of shows that you pretty much are passionate in heading towards any kind of direction you're going to be heading towards, and it's going to give you this blissful, ecstatic, and very beautiful rapture kind of ending or outcome for you in the future. Now, of course, I can't say when, where, or how because my tarot readings have no time frame, so take it how it resonates and see when it might eventually happen. Because Le Tarot Interdit says As de Miroir, also known as Ace of Cups. There's definitely a new love offering heading towards you, wherever it may be. It could be maybe from an earth sign, a water sign, or even an air sign for that matter. But there's definitely, something heading towards you, from this other person in the future and stuff like that. So maybe it could be a very beautiful outcome. It could, turn into this grand, what have you, and so forth in other ways. But there's definitely this new, beautiful, abundant, sense of this Ace of Cups that's definitely going to be, just, presented to you in the future and stuff like that. And maybe you do actually have to make this big choice and decision on who you're going to be choosing. But as long as you have your senses, your intuition, and your past experiences to guide you toward the best possible outcome, that's what I hope for you guys, at least in today's reading. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now, but if this reading resonated for any of Leos out in this world, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I love you guys incredibly. In a few days, I'm going back to general readings, so for now, I'm just doing love and general. I'm also open for personal readings, and all you have to do is let me know in the comments section below that you want a personal reading from me, and I'll respond to you with my email. But other than that, again, thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys incredibly. Oh yeah, but if you are interested in a personal reading, there's this price list on my web page. It's called Project Page, and it has the different types of prices for personal readings. So if you're ever interested in one of them, or any of them for that matter, other than that, I love you guys incredibly, and best of luck on what choice and decision, yeah, you will be making or will be heading towards you in other ways.